The terrorists only set us back a bit.
You have to stop calling them terrorists.
What else would we call them?
Your peacekeeping troops carrying weapons are forcing millions of people into settlements around the world, right? What do you think those people are going to call you?
This is what Captain America is supposed to be. You see, when I first watched this scene, I thought it was pretty good. The speech was in character for Sam, it led to a well-written ending for the series, and it presented logical and compelling arguments for Sam and Carly's perspectives in the MCU. However, even after the episode ended, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was only after a short while that I realized the massive significance this speech had, both for Sam stepping up as his own Captain America and to define the real legacy of Steve Rogers. Of course, much like the rest of the show, the speech was not afraid to bring up other relevant topics like racism, the danger of having a lot of power and not enough empathy, and the weight of having to make tough decisions. With this speech, Sam did something Steve never did. He publicly challenged official governmental authority in a non-violent manner. He brought up valid points, making those representatives see reason and understand the impact of their decisions. In doing so, Sam stepped up as his own Captain America, and more notably, as my favorite of the two. I believe Sam Wilson might just be a better Captain America than Steve Rogers. Let's talk about that.
Wait a minute!
Before we start speculating in the comments, I want to say that I don't hate Steve's character. In fact, I enjoyed his character and what he stood for as Captain America very much. If I didn't, would I have a sock off Captain America? I would definitely say that my enjoyment and understanding of the character grew alongside the MCU. I liked the first Avenger and thought Steve was okay. I really liked The Winter Soldier and grew to like Steve even more as I had learned more about him. And to this day, I still think Civil War is one of the best MCU movies of all time. I use it as a barometer for new cinematic installments. No, really, that's how you ended up with a controversial Black Panther video. That being said, my appreciation for Steve's character did not reach its peak until Avengers Endgame. While Steve's
I can do this all day. I can do this all day. I can do this all day.
was cool and showed his willingness to persevere, I never found it that impressive, as his opponents did not seem to be that menacing. However, when Steve stood up by himself and was ready to face Thanos and his army alone, I finally understood what he represented as Captain America. Steve was hope. He was the embodiment of perseverance in the face of adversity and the immovable shield of humanity. He would sooner die than waste a moment not doing the right thing.
If I see a situation pointed south, I can't ignore it. Sometimes I wish I could.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
But we have to acknowledge that the relationship Steve and Sam have with the government is completely different from one another. Steve represented America from the second he took on the mantle, fighting for his country from the very beginning. He became Captain America while fighting for the military in the Second World War, opposing Hydra and the Red Skull. After being defrosted, Steve became an Avenger and a prominent public figure. He fought to protect New York City and was used by the government to teach high school kids about various topics. Of course, this was not the first time Steve had been the star of the show, tasked with showing average citizens the American ideal. Back when he became Captain America, Steve's fame started from being toured throughout the US and putting on shows for people, promoting America and its efforts in the war. He even starred in his own comic books and movies. Steve Rogers became the symbol of the American dream, the idealized American man, and America's beloved mascot. Even when he rebelled against authority, it was usually through violence or stoic and calm phrases like,
What if this panel sends us somewhere we don't think we should go? What if there's somewhere we need to go and they don't let us? We may not be perfect, but the safest hands are still our own.
Despite being a wanted man for years, his infomercials were still played in schools. That's because, even when rebelling, Steve Rogers' Captain America was the country's public mascot, representing an idealized America. On the other hand, Sam's journey as Captain America and his relationship with the government while holding this title are completely different. Sam was not chosen to be Captain America by a public official, nor was he chosen to serve a greater purpose for his nation. Sam was chosen by his friend, Steve, who thought he was a good man worthy of carrying on his legacy. And even when he was chosen, Sam did not take it for granted and went on his own journey, choosing to take up the shield and the Captain America mantle. He also struggled in doing so, as he originally just wanted to honor his friend and it felt wrong for him to be Captain America. As soon as he was Captain America, Sam didn't fight against authority in a violent manner. He didn't deliver a few emotional words. He presented a logical, well-structured and persuasive argument that challenged governmental officials in public. This is why Sam's speech was so important, because he didn't allow himself to be turned into America's mascot or to be used as some proof of inclusivity. Sam didn't represent a fake American ideal, but the American reality. Yet, despite this flawed reality, he still believes and hopes for a better future, a future he will fight for. With this speech, Captain America shows us that one can still hold hope and persevere without being entranced by an illusion. This is what we need right now. This is what Captain America should be, and this is why Sam is my favorite Captain America.
So, you got detention.
Though, we also shouldn't blame Steve for representing an idealized world or for helping the American government, willingly or unwillingly. After all, Steve's circumstances, life experiences, and understanding of the Captain America legacy and purpose are completely different from Sam's. This is through no fault of his own, as Steve could not have known or experienced many of the things that Sam does. At first, Steve's understanding of his legacy was simple. He had been chosen by Abraham Erskine because of his good heart, and was given the super soldier serum to defeat Nazi Germany. Things become more complicated when he learns that Bucky is alive and has been affected by the same substance, yet he's being controlled and used by Hydra as an assassin. However, the legacy of Captain America and that of the serum reaches its climax in Civil War. During the movie's events, Steve Rogers is dubbed as a criminal for going against the government's wishes, and he learns there were more corrupt super soldiers out there. Sam's understanding of the Captain America legacy builds upon all of that. Not only does he have to live up to his friend's wishes, but he also has to take up a mantle drenched in history and tragedy. The weight of this legacy only increases once it is tainted by the government, choosing John Walker as the next Captain America only because of his military record and his resemblance to Steve. Not to mention finding out that there was an African American Captain America that the government betrayed, imprisoned, and experimented on. The truth is that Sam has to deal with a more complex and layered legacy of the Captain America title, all while facing off against new super soldiers whose principles he agrees with. Despite all of that, Sam chooses to take up the mantle and make it his own. He honors Carly by stopping the repatriation movement and honors Isaiah by letting the world know the full history of Captain America. There were just too many events and aspects that Steve was not aware of, making his understanding of his own legacy incomplete. He didn't know about Isaiah. He couldn't have known the difficulty of picking up the mantle from a friend that passed away, and he certainly could not have known the experiences of being a black Captain America. Yet, he made the right choice in choosing Sam Wilson, not because of Sam's background or his military experience, or even because he was Steve's friend, but because Sam is a man with a good heart, which is the core of being Captain America. That is what Sam shows us through his speech. He shows us that he passionately cares about others and he is not afraid to make tough decisions for the good of mankind. He will pick up the shield, even if it feels wrong, and he will be judged by many simply because it is the choice that will help the most people. Sam's empathy, selflessness, and hope for a brighter future make him my favorite Captain America. This speech was how I realized exactly how different he is from Steve and how much that matters for the MCU and us as the audience watching him. At least, that's how I feel. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, keep writing.